family? Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Thursday for most of you out there. And as well, we got a Thursday night football game going on tonight. Niners versus 49ers at San Francisco. 49ers opening day at their facility. Before we begin, we're going to quick for this the NFL season. Just wanted to send out my love. Nick Chubb. Sunday's game against the Cardinals, it looked pretty bad, but luckily there was no breaks or fractures. It looks like it was just a sprained ankle. And also today, in breaking news earlier, Green Bay went out with a season-ending potential. I've got San Francisco winning this game tonight. I had them as one of my favorites beginning of the season. The only question mark that I had was whether Purdy would come back healthy. That guy looks like he's not skipping a beat. Second year under center, and he looks like he's doing great. So I've got San Francisco winning this game tonight, going 3-0. And next up, looks like we've got Tennessee versus Cleveland. Cleveland did not look good last game. Deshaun Watson, I'm not sure what's going on with him. He was a little erratic at times and could never get that offense going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've got Tennessee winning that game, especially with Nick Chubb, going out with that terrible injury. Next up after that, Atlanta versus Detroit. I've got Detroit winning this game. It's pretty much at 1-1. I don't think it's a must-win for Detroit, but they don't want to fall behind in that division. Even though the division is kind of up and down, I don't see anybody running away with it. I think Detroit's the team to beat in that division, and I have Detroit beating Atlanta. New Orleans visits the Packers. I've got the Packers in this one. New Orleans, even though they're winning and they've had a soft schedule to start, I think going to Green Bay, traveling up north, is going to be tough for them. I think Green Bay wins this game, especially at 1-1. It's a must win for them, and these especially if they want to keep track or keep up with the Lions, who I think are going to win that division. I think Green Bay wins it. Derek Carr and New Orleans, they're winning, but they're not winning convincingly. I think they've won their last few games by the slimmest of margins. So I think this will be their first loss. Next up, Denver versus Miami. You guys know I'm not a Denver believer. I don't think Russell Wilson, Sean Payton is going to work. And they're traveling to Miami. Miami's on a roll. They look, like they're a well-oiled machine. And as long as Tua can stay healthy, I think the sky's the limit for Miami. I think Miami wins this, goes 3-0, and Denver goes 0-3. And I think, as stated previously, that there's going to be drama in Denver and soon. What I think is going to be the game of the weekend, the LA Chargers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Both teams 0-2, must win for both teams. I don't see going 0-3 that's a serious hole to dig yourself out of to start the season. The Chargers are way too talented to be going 0-3, but their coach, he's already on the hot seat. As you can see, if you've had a chance to see any of his interviews after the game, his post game interviews, the guy is already feeling it, lashing out at reporters. Simple questions that they're asking him. I think Minnesota wins this game. It's at Minnesota, and I think the Chargers go 0-3, and all hell is going to break loose at the Chargers facility. Next up, New England 0-2 against the New York Jets at 1-1 in New York. I think New England wins this game 1-2. I think New England, they're not a bad football team. I think their defense is solid. They got a Super Bowl type defense, but I think that their offense isn't as on par with the defense. But I think they have enough to beat the Jets, especially if the Jets coaching staff continues to put all the offensive game plan on Wilson's lap. I don't think they're going to pull it off. I think New England goes in there, wins the game, 1-2. Both teams after this weekend's game will be 1-2. Next up, Buffalo visits Washington. I think Buffalo putting themselves in a hole at 1-1, especially in that division with Miami. They're going to have to keep up, and I think they go into Washington motivated. Josh Allen, I think he settled down based off of the way they played against the Raiders. He took what the defense gave him, and I think he continues to do the same. I think Buffalo goes in, wins this game, goes to 2-1. And next up, Houston visits Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville wins this game, goes to 2-1. Next up, after this, Indianapolis versus Baltimore at Baltimore. Indy, Richardson, I don't think he's playing. He's on concussion protocol. Can't have a running quarterback and expect him to survive the season. I think they're learning the hard way. I think Baltimore wins this game, goes 3-0. Next up, Carolina at Seattle. I think, Seattle's a tough place to play. It's loud, cold, and windy most of the time. So I think Carolina travels all the way cross country and gets beat by Seattle. Carolina goes 0-3. Seattle starts the season at 2-1. Next up, Chicago versus Kansas City. At Kansas City, Chicago, they're just all over the place. Fields isn't looking good. He's blaming all his coaching staff for his bad play. They look a little dysfunctional at this moment. I think Kansas City beats them soundly. Kansas City starts the season at 2-1. Dallas travels to Arizona. I think Arizona, for me, they're a solid team. They play hard, but Dallas, as stated previously, I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think the onus is going to be on the offense a little more, especially losing Diggs. But that defensive line is they're a beast, man. And this team, the Cowboys, will only go as far as Dak Prescott leads them. I think Dallas takes it, starts the season 3-0. Philadelphia versus Tampa Bay. I think at Tampa Bay, 2-0 teams. Should be a great game, I think. Defenses are solid on both teams. And Baker Mayfield, damn, he's proven me wrong. I didn't think he was going to start the season this well or this good, but he's proving a lot of doubters wrong. Games in Tampa Bay. Damn, I don't know where to go with this one. I think Philadelphia has just enough to win this game. It's going to be a close game, but I think Philadelphia starts the season at 3-0, keeps up with the Cowboys, and I think Philadelphia takes that. Next up, the Rams visit Cincinnati. Cincinnati's in a must-win situation. The game's in Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati pulls it off by the slimmest of margins. Just because they're at home and they're must-win, they're going to come off motivated. I think Cincinnati wins that game. Both teams go to 1-2 after this. And next up for me is the last game that I'm going to give you guys is Pittsburgh versus the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, opening day for the Raiders. I think traveling cross country and playing Monday night is a bit much for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Raiders pull off this victory by 3 points. Thank you.